Monogamy, polygamy, and polyandry, the tension between nature and social constructs. Human relationships are complex, shaped by a mix of biological instincts and social constructs. At the heart of many debates about relationships is the question of whether humans are naturally monogamous, or whether polygamy, multiple spouses for one person, and polyandry, one woman with multiple male partners, better reflect human nature. While evolutionary biology suggests that humans may be predisposed to a variety of relationship forms, including polygamy and polyandry, societal norms have imposed the one-man, one-woman model so forcefully that any deviation from it is often viewed with suspicion or condemnation. This dissonance between biological tendencies and social expectations explains why affairs, infidelity, and even prostitution continue to thrive, despite society's professed commitment to monogamy. The tension between nature and social constructs is not new. From ancient civilizations to modern societies, humans have navigated various forms of relationships, with the dominant form often shaped by cultural, religious, or economic pressures rather than by biological imperatives. By exploring the historical, cultural, and biological dimensions of human relationships, we can gain a clearer understanding of why monogamy became the dominant social norm and why many people still struggle with it. Biologically speaking, humans are not strictly monogamous creatures. Many evolutionary biologists argue that, like other primates, humans have evolved to be flexible in their mating strategies. Anthropologist Helen Fisher, in her work Why We Love, explains that while romantic love may be universal, the specific form it takes, whether monogamous, polygamous, or polyandrous, varies depending on environmental and social factors. Human reproductive strategies have been shaped by evolutionary pressures, such as the need for genetic diversity and the survival of offspring. Historically, polygamy, specifically polygyny, where one man has multiple wives, has been practiced in many societies around the world. This system allowed for the consolidation of wealth, power, and resources. Men with multiple wives could increase their chances of producing offspring, while women in such arrangements often had greater security in terms of resources. Polyandry, though less common, has also been practiced in certain cultures, particularly in regions like Tibet and Nepal, where a woman might have multiple husbands, often brothers. This arrangement helped conserve family resources and reduce competition among heirs. In modern society, however, polygamy and polyandry are largely taboo, with monogamy being promoted as the ideal. Yet, if we examine human behavior, we see that infidelity and extramarital affairs are widespread. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Sex Research found that nearly 20% of Americans admitted to having engaged in extramarital sex, while other studies suggest that rates of infidelity may be even higher in some populations. This suggests that while monogamy may be the social norm, many individuals still engage in behaviors that reflect a more flexible approach to relationships. Monogamy, as it is practiced today, is a social construct rather than a biological imperative. The one-man, one-woman marriage model is a relatively recent development in human history, particularly when compared to the long history of polygamous and polyandrous practices in many cultures. The rise of monogamy can be traced to various historical and social factors, including religion, economics, and the desire for social order. In ancient civilizations, such as Mesopotamia and Egypt, polygamy was common among the elite as a way to secure alliances and produce heirs. However, with the rise of Christianity in the Roman Empire, monogamy became more strongly enforced as a religious ideal. The Christian Church promoted monogamous marriage as a way to control sexual behavior, strengthen family units, and ensure that property passed down clearly from one generation to the next. Over time, these religious and legal frameworks helped solidify monogamy as the dominant social model in the West. Monogamy also serves an economic and social function in modern capitalist societies. In monogamous marriages, property, wealth, and resources are concentrated within a single household, allowing for more stable economic units. Additionally, monogamy has been tied to ideals of romantic love and fidelity, reinforcing the notion that true love is exclusive and lifelong. This ideal, while beautiful in theory, often fails to align with the realities of human relationships, leading to disappointment, frustration, and secrecy when individuals cannot conform to the standard. The disconnect between human nature and societal expectations can be seen in the prevalence of affairs and the continued existence of the sex industry. If society were truly aligned with human nature, we might see less infidelity or fewer clandestine relationships. Instead, the rigid imposition of monogamy often drives individuals to seek satisfaction outside of their primary relationships. This is not to justify or condone infidelity, but rather to recognize that the tension between natural desires and social expectations often leads to such outcomes. Prostitution, often called the world's oldest profession, further highlights this tension. Despite the social condemnation of prostitution, it remains a thriving industry in many parts of the world. According to a 2018 report by the United Nations, the global sex trade is estimated to be worth billions of dollars annually. The demand for commercial sex reflects the fact that many individuals seek sexual relationships outside of the confines of traditional marriage. While prostitution is often framed as a moral issue, its persistence suggests that it fills a societal need that is not met by the standard one-man, one-woman model. Famed psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud observed that civilization is built upon a renunciation of instinct. While Freud believed that human society required the suppression of certain natural desires to function, the question remains, at what cost? If suppressing natural instincts such as polygamous or polyandrous tendencies leads to widespread dissatisfaction and secretive behavior, perhaps it is time to reconsider how society approaches relationships. As society evolves, so too do our ideas about relationships. In recent years, there has been a growing acceptance of non-traditional relationship models, such as polyamory, where individuals maintain multiple consensual relationships, and open marriages. These models reflect a more flexible approach to relationships, one that recognizes that love, intimacy, and commitment can take many forms. While polyamory and open marriages are still relatively uncommon, they represent a shift toward acknowledging the complexity of human relationships and the limitations of monogamy as a one-size-fits-all solution. Moreover, there is increasing recognition that relationships should be based on mutual respect, communication, and consent, rather than rigid adherence to social constructs. The key to successful relationships, whether monogamous, polygamous, or otherwise, is transparency and trust. Couples who can communicate openly about their needs and desires are more likely to find satisfaction, regardless of the structure of their relationship. The tension between our natural inclinations toward polygamy or polyandry and the social construct of monogamy is a complex issue that has shaped human relationships for centuries. While monogamy has become the dominant social model in much of the world, it is not necessarily aligned with human nature. The persistence of infidelity, affairs, and prostitution suggests that many people struggle to conform to the expectations of monogamous relationships. Rather than viewing non-traditional relationship models as a threat, society should begin to have more open and honest conversations about the diversity of human relationships. By acknowledging the complexity of human desires and allowing for greater flexibility in how relationships are structured, we can move toward a more truthful and compassionate understanding of love, commitment, and intimacy. In the end, the key is not to impose one model on everyone, but to allow individuals the freedom to find what works best for them.